Shut up and sit down.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Ken Frederick Podcast. This is Brock doing the intro, so it's going to be much better than usual. This is episode number 102, Kingsman, the Golden Circle Review. If you like what you hear, you can check us out on the internet in several different locations, including kfpodcast.com, at kfpodcast on Facebook, on Twitter at Ken Fred Podcast, Instagram is Ken Frederick Podcast, YouTube is also Ken Frederick Podcast, and SoundCloud, Ken Frederick Podcast. And I think we're on MySpace and a couple other ones. So
Google Plus and Tumblr and everything.
Just type us in the Google machine.
Grindr.
I'm sure they'll find. You'll find something.
That's the Cheese's profile.
Especially the cheese on Grindr. So we have the whole crew here today, minus Ken, but we have Lance filling in for him. So
welcome back, Lance.
Thank you.
It's been a while since Lance has been here.
It's been a while.
Yes, I miss all you guys.
No, you don't. Don't
He
lie.
doesn't at all.
That's true.
The last
I
movie,
lied.
wasn't it?
I had nothing else to do on a Thursday.
Probably the last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably the last movie.
Somewhere around there. Well, we got together, even though Ken took a night off, to see Kingsman. Because I think we were fans of it, the first one, right? Weren't we?
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
That
definitely.
was it? Yeah.
So, why don't we start off with the non-spoiler reviews?
Right into it.
Right into it. You know how this shit works. We've done this before. Let's start with the cheese.
All right.
All right. So excited. Hey, welcome back, guys. 8:25. like a talk show.
Cheese in the morning, too.
Cheese in the morning. 8:29 after 8 o'clock. Traffic and weather coming up here soon. So, Kingsman.
It wasn't as good as the first one. I enjoyed it. I think it's one of those ones I need to
think.
I need
He
to.
hasn't
I'm a little
digested it yet.
confused. He
He
hasn't
needs to more emotionally explore his
No,
experience.
I need to talk. This is one of those movies I just need to talk it out with you
No,
guys.
I agree.
To
I feel
figure
the same
out
way,
I
too.
got kicked in the
How
balls.
how I
think
felt.
it hurt.
No, that one I'd know right away. But I mean,
Excuse me.
it wasn't. It was nowhere near as good as the first one, in my opinion. And I was a little, I think, let down. It's not that I expected it to be better. I was hoping for it to be better.
There wasn't expectations. There was hope.
Yeah, they. Well, I've learned I can't
new
go into
hope?
things with expectations.
Yeah.
Right
But
expectations.
there was a lot of action like the first one. There was a lot of over the top fight scenes, a lot of crazy stuff going on. For a standalone action movie, it was pretty good. I was just hoping for more of the of what the first one brought, but I think this movie is going to have some of the same problems that John Wick 2 had, where when the first Kingsman, the first John Wick came out, nobody expected it. You went into it and it was like, oh my God, that was amazing. Where did this come from? And so you've got, you want the sequel to be just on that same level, and it just can't compete.
I already got this review in Sheets, by the way. This same one right here. I already got this one already.
Hey, I'm
He was refining.
I got good material. I'm gonna keep it going.
He tries it out on me.
I do.
While we wait for sandwiches.
See how it goes. But I did have a good time. I did enjoy it.
I'm glad you had a nice time.
Just not as much as the first one.
There you go.
All right.
One of you two. Lance.
Go ahead, Lance.
All right. I'll sort of agree with Justin. Sort of.
Yes.
Excuse me while I blow my nose.
As a standalone movie, it would have been good, but from my perspective, they suffered from pacing, and it's weird because there were parts of the movie that were really, really slow, but they had such a density of trying to put these multiple plot lines together that really, really, really never came together. But trying to make it one cohesive movie, it just didn't quite work for me.
It did have very odd pacing to it. I felt the same way too.
Now, I mean, it's cool. It still has that sort of Kingsman feel to it. Sort of got
that Mark Millar feel to his movies.
Yeah, or with the nods to Our Man Flint, James Bond, those sorts of spy exploitation movies. So I mean, it was good.
Well, I'm surprised you landed on it was good after all that.
Well, good, not spectacular.
Spectacular.
Brocktopoulos?
I enjoyed it a lot. Like Justin, I liked the first one a lot better. I think there's just a lot of hokiness in this one. Like the whole island and the whole. I don't want to spoil anything yet.
We always say this, we say this about movies where they outdo themselves, they out-kings them.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's exactly what it was.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's my biggest fear for Deadpool 2.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what's going to happen to
out
too.
Deadpool.
But you know what was great in the first one when they jumped on here? Well, how about they
Let's
jumped
do
on here
that
and then
3
there's
more
fire and
times.
there's a meteor hit. And you're like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
getting crazy. You know, like, wow, we're getting really out of control.
But
Writing this shit
It
down.
was fun. There was a lot of cool action sequences and fight scenes and all that, which is what we expected.
Yeah.
But in the plot got a little political, but that's okay.
Yeah, it did.
A little,
That was one of the satisfying parts.
Yeah, exactly.
little heavy-handed in a few spots, but
Yeah.
It went there for some reason, but yeah, it did.
a lot of movies are doing that.
Yeah.
Recently,
It's the
I
world
think,
we live
within
in
the last
now.
couple of years.
The thing that did sort of annoy me is that it's not much of a spoiler, but the only news they showed was Fox News.
Yeah.
I think that was by design.
I don't know if that was like they supported it or that was a shot towards it, or
Right.
maybe a little bit of both. I don't know where they're going with that, but
Let me look up the studio. There was probably some rights things
yeah, I was
going
gonna
on
say.
there.
yeah, it is a Fox movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
then
there
there
you
we
go.
go.
So
There's
there-
our answer. That's why they did it then. All right. Well, me, this is one of those movies, like the first movie I had no interest in seeing. Like I knew it was based off of a comic, and I was like, whatever, passed. Caught it one time I think I watched it on pay-per-view one day. I was bored and was like, wow, that was so much fun. Like, man, everything about that was cool, was original, was unique. Like, man, I really liked that. Tell everybody I see it, like, see that movie. I didn't think it was going to be good either, but it was really good. Ended great. It had the right a bit of comedy, right a bit of like action, and again, this one, I wasn't saying I was like expecting a lot out of it, but I was really looking forward to it because I'm like, oh, more of this. This will be good. It's a good way to like round out the summer with this movie, and it just kind of from the beginning felt like I kept waiting for it to like get where I wanted it to be, and I just kept feeling like, okay, all right, well, that's a good action scene, so I'm happy. Oh, that was a funny line, but I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what the plot in this movie? It's a ridiculous. We'll get into the spoilers here, but it's a ridiculous sort of plot. And I know that these movies are supposed to be ridiculous, but it was like really ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll go into spoilers later.
So we'll dive into those now. I don't know. I like you said. I don't really know how I feel. Like I was entertained. I guess I didn't like hate it. Like wanted to walk out, but like I can't. Like the first one I've watched several times on HBO. I don't know if I could really sit down and like sit through a lot of that again. Maybe certain parts of it.
I would watch it on HBO. I will not pay theater prices to go see it again.
All right. Well,
So one thing, I'm looking at the Telegraph, their movie review is a lot less appealing than ours.
Okay.
Their words to describe it are bloated and inexplicably unentertaining.
Ooh.
Wow. I saw some good reviews for it, but I don't know. All right. Well, we'll kick the ball back over to you, Cheesehead,
Spoilers.
and then go with yours.
Oh, right back to me.
Yeah,
Ooh.
go
All right, cool. So one of the best and funniest, and I'm going to steal this from everybody because I'm sure this is the best and funniest thing about the whole movie
Best and funniest.
was Elton John.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elton
was
John makes what at first you think is going to be a cameo appearance,
Yeah.
and he ends up has more screen time in this movie.
There's like a fight scene.
Yeah,
Dude.
he has more screen time in this movie than Channing Tatum does.
Yeah, he did. Which I didn't
By a
understand
lot.
Channing Tatum's character at all. Like I thought he was going to be a major character in this, and he was like out of commission and all of it. And
And then the thing at
It
the,
was
the
sort
end
of like
I didn't
with
get.
Steven Seagal in what was the movie where he died halfway through the movie?
yeah, I'm never gonna. I'll sit here all day trying to figure out the name. Out for Justice? No,
No, it's the one with Air Force One.
I have no
I
can't.
can't.
All right, I'll have to find it.
You find it. But anyway, go ahead.
But I mean that was hilarious. Is Julianne Moore
Yes.
Julianne Moore
played the villain
Was
and
odd.
she was very odd. I think they were trying to get because Samuel L. Jackson's villain was very, very odd, but he plays that over the top. He had that lisp that was
But he was
Just
good. He was
classic.
comical. He was different.
Yeah, and
you know, her thing with like she's somewhere in the jungles of Cambodia and has like a 50s diner. Like that seemed all so unnecessary and weird.
yeah,
Robots.
they were trying.
Robots.
Yeah, the robots.
Well, they were trying to make it a comic book
Yeah.
because you know, I mean,
She was a Bond villain.
You can
Yeah.
get away with that,
But like
in a comic book, it doesn't translate to screen real well.
So, well, just let me step in real quick 1 sec. Her whole thing is she wanted to make all this money off these pharmaceutical drugs. She was selling drugs and wanted to legalize drugs and all that.
Yeah.
Her robot technology was so far advanced. Why don't you just sell robots and like prosthetic arms and all that? My God, you would make a fortune. Like her robot technology was light years beyond anything that anybody has. But like you're worried about like legalizing marijuana and heroin and all that to make a profit off of a cure. And
she made, you know, that was her fortune, $250 billion in 1 year,
Yeah.
off of being the largest drug cartel in the world.
And I didn't understand why, if she made that much money, why she wouldn't then go ahead and kill everybody.
She wanted the recognition for it.
Yeah.
She wanted recognition. She wanted to legalize it and then
Yeah,
sell
she
it.
wanted-
Because didn't you hear that there was that rant? Well, you know, if you kill people with tobacco or sugar, you know, you
You're
get a
Fortune
spot on Wall
500.
Street and you're a Fortune 500. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was all very heavy-handed with the...
yeah, the politics,
The politics and
save
all that.
lives, legalize.
Yeah, it was
and-
like too much. I don't go to movies for all that shoved in my face.
especially in a movie like this. There's certain movies where a political tone can be okay, but
Yeah, if it's like a
Well,
real-life
no, I mean,
type movie.
no, but I mean there are some I can accept some.
If I go to a
political
movie with
overtones.
robot arms and all this other stuff, that's not what I wanted. It's not what I'm there to see. Maybe in a James Bond movie or a spy movie, government movie, you can
All
throw
right,
it in
all
there.
right, yeah.
But when I go to a movie with robotic arms and laser whips, I'm not looking for I'm escaping
yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
but
But it was a satire
Yeah,
of the political.
I understand. Yeah.
Because you had the person in the cabinet who was actually like doing the drugs.
Yeah, that was doing the drugs.
Yeah.
and all that.
The
But you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
the president was a giant
It was
jackass.
giant jackass. Yeah.
Just
a big penis head. Yes.
Yeah. So what I don't know. It was just there was some strangeness there.
Executive decision.
Executive decision. There
Yes.
you go. There you go.
I don't remember that one.
It's we
what he
saving
said,
the
too.
president and all that stuff.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, how about you? Some of your spoilerish stuff.
Well, the thing that bothered me at the beginning of this movie is I had to adapt my hearing to be able to pick up on the British dialogue. I needed subtitles for the first 25 minutes of this movie. It was very difficult to understand.
When they got into Cockney, that
Yes.
real
Yeah.
thick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
informal British, it was difficult to get.
What,
I needed subtitles.
Bruv,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It was tough when they were sitting around talking in their in Eggsy's apartment. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
what are they saying?
What is going on here?
It's really different. It's really hard to hear.
And then I enjoyed Elton John like Justin. That was hilarious. He could have been in there more, and I would have found him entertaining. I think.
Yeah, he was good.
It was, and the action sequences were great. And
Yeah.
but the plot.
A lot of good fights. A lot of good fight scenes.
I was a little disappointed in the gondola, that gondola action. Just having it turned into the UFO thing was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
yeah.
just slides across the snow and everybody's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, everyone's fine. I thought it was
And
going
they
to
never quite I mean, I didn't quite see how they actually got the cable to break. I mean, he broke the window, but how did the cable break?
I saw that at first, but then when they pan way back, you saw the electric
whip hit
was
it.
out the window.
Hit it, yeah.
Okay.
That laser.
That electric whip was great.
whip.
That can get you out of a lot of jams.
Now, did you recognize? Because I haven't seen this actor in a while. The actor with the laser whip. Did you know who he was?
No.
He was Prince Oberyn from Game of Thrones.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nope.
And I was like, oh, that's him. The guy who plays him, he was born in Chile.
Okay.
He has a very thick accent. So you remember in Game of Thrones his accent because he was from Dorne,
Right.
and he was supposed to be like Spaniard and all that. his fake-ass American accent was horrible. I mean, like, I'm like, this guy's a good actor, and I like him. He's a good action star and all that, but I'm like, if you wanted him to be a statesman where he was like this, like, I don't know if he pulled that off. Like, it really sounded to me like he was really faking that U.S. Southern accent. Like, I wasn't... The accents in this movie, like you said, like on the other side, the American... Jeff Bridges' over-the-top Kentucky accent.
Yeah.
I was like, is that how people really...
Well,
like,
I know people in Kentucky, and like that sounds like people. Jeff Bridges' accent sounded like a drunk Kentuckian.
yeah, it was like really drunk over. Like, it's like an educated, he's a statesman and all that. And then, like I said, the guy that played Prince Oberyn or whatever, I'm like, I'm not buying that at all. Like,
Yeah.
you're not from. It sounds to me like you're totally undercover, faking like you're an American with that accent. Because he's not. I mean, the guy's from Chile. Like, it's a very thick, heavy accent. You remember him from Game of Thrones, the way he talks. So I thought that was kind of a strange casting choice.
Channing Tatum's was way over the top, but for some reason his didn't bother me.
Well, because he's played characters where you've had that sort of southern accent.
And he's from the South.
Yeah, he's from there. I don't know. I bought his more that I could see
Yeah.
it than the other guy. I'm like, no.
I like jive talking Channing Tatum better.
Yeah. And G.I. Joe.
And G.I.
When he
Joe.
ruined G.I. Joe.
When he ruined
Back
G.I.
when
Joe.
Channing Tatum ruined G.I. Joe with Jive Talking Duke that
Yep.
no one bought. Like, this isn't how Duke talks. Quit Jive Talking. Anyway. So that was different. The accents were different. A little weird. I thought Halle Berry's role was strange.
Irrelevant.
Like, irrelevant. I didn't...
Well, I thought hers was sort of a setup, much like Channing Tatum's for Kingsman 3.
Yes.
Yeah, or a statesman movie.
Yeah.
Or a statesman movie, yeah.
Statesman movie could be cool. And I think that's probably where they'll go next.
At the end, Channing Tatum was dressed as a Kingsman,
Yeah.
which was... I don't know why that was the last
Well,
scene.
but the whole thing is they sort of united, so it might have.
Well, I didn't
maybe a
understand it because they
crossover.
said they were getting into making liquor instead of clothes, and then they had a clothing store open.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but so my theory is they sent him to England with the Kingsmen to kind of clean him up. Because remember, every time he was in the room, they were like, "You're at the table. This is formal."
Yeah,
Where's
he
your-"
was like the
And so they-
jackass. He was the one doing the drugs,
Yeah.
and then not wearing a tie and all that
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
So they'll send him over there to get trained
He
up.
didn't really
and then
do
he'll
much.
come back.
His gun scene was kind of the gunfights stuff that he did was cool, but he only did one real scene where
Yeah.
he fought them.
Well,
And
the fact that he spits tobacco, much like Spider-Man's web.
yeah, that was really strange. And why was Jeff Bridges spitting out the whiskey into a spittoon?
No,
I
that
think
was
it
the tequila.
That was the tequila. Okay.
And I think there's some joke about that because in
Let's hope.
Kevin Smith's Dogma movie,
Okay.
Alan Rickman drinks tequila and then immediately spits
Well,
it
that's
out.
because that's because angels can't drink
I know, but
and they can't consume alcohol. So
I've seen other movies where they take the sip of tequila and then they just spit it out. I don't.
That had nothing to do with it in Dogma. That was because angels can't drink, and he was pissed about it. They took away their ability to consume alcohol.
I'm rolling my eyes at it.
I know.
He was just sampling the product.
Yeah, that's all. What spoilers do you have? Spoilerish
I mean,
reviews.
I like some of the little Easter eggs, like the two robot dogs were named Benny and Jet.
Yeah.
You didn't like the villain. It was more like, to me, I go back to like Our Man Flint and you guys remember a movie Dr. Goldfoot? There was a series of them. Dr. Goldfoot in the Bikini Machine, Dr. Goldfoot Dynamite. No.
Sounds all right. Let's go check it
But
out.
it was a whole thing where they had this huge contrived plan just to like take over the world and make it normal.
Yeah.
Or normalize it. So
Yeah, her whole plot was very... I don't know what she was. I don't know if she like a super villain that wanted, but she just wanted to be recognized.
Well, yeah, she was
she
like
sold
that. She
drugs.
was like that soccer mom who like had this huge empire, but she couldn't tell anyone about it, and she was really mad about it.
And that's my thing. If you wanted to tell people about it, you could do robotics, medical drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kind of things this lady could have done if you're that smart and that powerful.
That's true.
To get recognition, you didn't have to sell heroin and crack and want to get in. Just
poison people.
It was just such an odd plot. Like I felt like when they were putting that together, it had to be like, why does she want to take over the world? Well, she wants to sell drugs, and then she makes billions. Well, then she's content at just keeping her business going. Well, now she wants to be famous, so why doesn't she just sell all that robot technology and be like the world leader in robotics? I don't know. She wants to legalize drugs. Like, this is weird. This is a weird plot, you know.
I mean, the way they brought Galahad back. All right, fine.
Yeah, that was
suspension of disbelief there. But the part of the thing that bothered me was the whole thing where, okay, you know, he's misfiring, he's hallucinating.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. It sort of hamstrings like a perfectly good action movie.
Yeah.
It's almost like Bad Boys 2, where it's like you've got this cool plot line going, you've got these cool detectives in this cool area, but they bicker back and forth, and you're just like, shut the hell up!
Yeah, quit bickering. Just
Well, and Martin Lawrence doesn't want to shoot anybody in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Bad Boys
Well, yeah,
2 is
it
terrible.
was weird. I mean, like, and especially after, like, well, they fixed him. They put his neuro stuff back in the way he was saying he should be fine. And then, like, he couldn't do any of his cool Kingsman stuff.
Right.
He couldn't throw the glass and hit the guy. He was really pointless most of the movie to the end.
And the whole part about like how it was sort of abrupt how he shot what's his name? Not Tequila, the other guy.
Whiskey.
Jack Daniels.
Shot whiskey.
Or whiskey or whatever.
And he's like, he's a traitor, but you never get any hint as to why. You never get
just because he thought he was going to destroy the vial, but he shot him right in the face. Like,
Yeah.
like maybe there was another reason he couldn't interrogate him. Like, he was really that part was weird. Like, I'm like, well, you just brutally murdered a man by shooting him in the face.
Well, and the
because
whole
you think he might be
and
a
the
trailer.
whole reason the vial fell was because
He rescued them.
He rescued them.
It made no sense. And speaking of Colin Firth's character, I didn't like they brought him back because I liked when he died in that movie. Like, I felt like that movie, like, you could do a prequel of Kingsman where it stars Colin Firth. Colin Firth in that movie, the whole point of that is he passes the mantle of that over to Eggsy. And he's that thing, and his relationship with, like, Merlin is what I like. Then they go killing Merlin off for no reason, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Well, see, what I would have hoped would have happened is they wouldn't have killed off Merlin, and Colin Firth would have become Arthur.
Yeah, or something
And
like
Eggsy
that.
would have maintained the Galahad.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't really think there was any real reason to bring back Colin Firth. I feel like the way he did and the way he motivated Eggsy in the first movie, and it was like, I'm gonna clean up my shit and be this Kingsman because of my love for him. Like,
He was
it
his
wasn't
Uncle Ben.
It wasn't it was his Uncle Ben. It wasn't needed.
And if you were gonna bring it back, don't put him in the goddamn trailer. That could have been a cool moment if you didn't know
they
he
stuck
was
it in the
that
trailer.
movie.
Yeah.
And they just dropped it in like the second trailer that Colin Firth was back.
But I hate the killing of Merlin. What's that actor's name? Is that Mark Strong? Is
Yeah.
that his name? He's really good.
Oh, he's great.
And him and Eggsy had such great chemistry. And if I'm watching this movie, I like that character. Why do you have to kill him? Why can't we have him for if you're going to do another movie? I don't want Halle Berry and Channing Tatum. I want the movie that I originally saw that worked with the characters that I liked. Like, I don't know. And his death was the most pointless good guy death. He literally killed 4 people.
Yeah.
Right.
He killed 4 people. It wasn't a game changer. It didn't, like, save their lives. Like, all that technology that they have that they can save you from brain shots and everything. You mean to tell me that freeze thing wouldn't have lasted more than a second, that you couldn't have got the hell out of the way? Or to pick it up and throw it at the guys or something
Or
like that?
why didn't the Minesweeper find it? It's not like you were
Yeah,
like
the Minesweeper was literally an inch away from it and couldn't find it. It was absolutely pointless. And then I'm like, oh, he's going to do something heroic. He kills like 4 people. Then they kill like 30 people.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, that was really a pointless death. All the looking, I'm going to do it now. I'm looking, I'm going to do it now. And then they blow it. It's pointless. And to a fashion, he's probably not dead, like you said.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. And
Well, he pressed the button in a suit and a bubble went around him or some stupid shit.
he's Q. He's the Q
Yeah.
of this universe, and he's going to he'll find a way out of it.
I was mad they killed, what's her name, Lancelot.
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought she was a good character, too, and they did nothing with
And
her.
I liked the dynamic between her and Eggsy. The fact that there was no sexual
Yeah,
tension.
it wasn't like
between
a
the two of
forced
them.
sexual tension
It
thing
was
with
they
them.
were just partners.
They were best friends.
Best friends.
Yeah. But and you know what? And with that movie, I kept waiting the whole movie that she was like alive
Gonna
because it
come
showed
back
you her
and-
like run to the side,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, she's gonna make the save here. She's gonna make. This is probably where she comes back, and I'm like, no, she's not. Like, she's gonna be at the end. This is her getting out of the car, and I'm like, no, Channing Tatum. Like, they really just killed her in a pointless, stupid scene for absolutely no reason. It was strange.
I will say two of my favorite parts of the movie where the opening fight scene where they're in the car
That was really done
with
well.
with the taxi. I mean, or
That
the-
was Bionic Commando.
yeah, that was actually it is the Bionic Commando, really.
Yeah.
And the last fight scene, but not necessarily the fight scene, but the fact that they played a cameo song.
Yeah.
And it was like a bluegrass pop version of the cameo song.
Word up.
I actually waded through the credits to see who did it because I was interested. It's actually cameo.
They brought Cameo back. Hey, you want to remix your own song?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll do that. Now, that villain, that guy I actually liked because I thought that was good, like, story development. He was at the end scene in the Samuel Jackson thing. He didn't die because of what he did to him. Like, I liked him. I thought he was, like, one of the only decent villains, whereas Julianne Moore's villain was so unbelievably. I mean, that whole scene where she puts the guy in the meat grinder and then makes a hamburger out of it and makes the guy eat it. I'm like, there's no clothing pieces and skin and hair and all of that.
But that's the psychotic soccer mom thing. The persona
It was
they're trying to
really strange.
weird.
It just came out pure ground meat. I'm like, no, there's bone and everything. Like, that's not how that works. I know we're supposed to disdain some disbelief here because it's like this goofy action movie, but that was kind of strange.
The henchman in the first movie was better too.
Yeah.
The chick with the blades.
Yeah, well, I liked the Bionic Arm guy. He was good. He had a good backstory. The Blade chick was good, but yeah, I'm glad they kept the princess around.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool part. You know, I mean, you know, they met by him banging her in the butt, and they kept bringing that up. Like, even Elton John offers up his ass to a guy to Colin Firth, and like, this is so weird.
Can I get tickets to your concert? You can have a backstage.
You can have a
pass.
backstage pass, and you know, oh, you're gonna go save the world again. You know what that means? Anal sex. I was like, all right, we got it. You know.
Well, but even Eggsy was like, yeah, get it.
Yeah, it was different, but I don't know. It was okay. It's all right. I
It was
guess.
fun. I'm not disappointed that I saw it.
No, you know.
And let's face it, we weren't exactly expecting a genre-changing entry.
No, I guess I was just expecting, like I said, when I watched the first one, I was a little taken back by it. Like, wow, I really liked that. That was a cool movie. Like I said, I remember telling people, watch that movie. That's really cool. And like, I watched it again with my wife, and she was like, "Oh, that was really good." You know, it had some good feel-good moments in it, and good things, and ended well. Like the ending is really good when he beats the people up. And this one, I was just kept waiting for it to like calm down and be that movie where I could go, see, I like more of this. Where I just kept going, what are we doing now? Why are there humans in these weird cages with chains, with brains? That was so bizarre. Why are they in there? Why are they stacked and like I don't know? Isn't that taking up more room instead of just putting them all in there? Like, it was a lot of weird crap that just made it odd.
The stack of cages was
Stack of cages was odd.
Although the one, I mean,
By the time they got him out of all those damn cages, everybody would have been dead.
well, that's right. How'd you get the antidote?
The antidote's coming by drone. I'm like, that would take forever.
Yeah, but
Would it
I
land and you grab one?
wonder if Amazon had a hand in that.
Yeah, because that was
Probably.
strange. They're like, oh, they're dispersing them now. Like, you're gonna need a lot. Like, how's that work? You know, how did it know to go to that one guy's apartment and give him a vial? Because where were they flying to? It was just flying by. Like, that stuff made no sense. I didn't feel as compelled. Like, you know, in the first one where Eggsy's sister and mom, like, the mom's gonna kill the little baby, and it was like, wow, everybody's beating the hell out of each other, and the mom's busting through the door very psychotic, like, and you're like, you better save it because that baby's about to crying.
There was a big sense of tension.
It was
at the
tension
end.
where I didn't really care that his drug addict friend's head was gonna blow. Like, I wasn't.
Even the princess, I was like, he's gonna save her. There was no tension.
Yeah.
Like when his mom was breaking through that door, I was
like, dude, hurry up! Kill Samuel Jackson, hurry up! Your like little sister's about to get killed by her own mother. It was like intense, you know.
And as crazy as the first one was, it was plausible that she was gonna go through with it.
true.
And let me ask another question. In the first one, didn't the Kingsman people get exposed and all, like, exterminated in the first one as well, too? Because at the end, it's only Merlin, Lancelot, and Galahad to take on...
No, because they were... Well, remember,
A lot of them
they
get-
actually had implants.
But then a lot of them have implants, and they were like all bad and all that stuff. And
I don't know if it was a lot of them, but it was definitely.
Well, it made it feel like at the end of the movie that there wasn't many of them that could come help because it was only 2 rookies, Galahad and Lancelot, and they were with Merlin. It was a very like, oh, you're our only hope kind of thing.
Well, but I think at the time, Merlin was worried because Arthur was implicated. He said, "You're the only 2 right now I trust."
Yeah, but it was like a bad thing. So if any of them had it, they wiped a lot out. Like, I just feel like this organization sucks. That like they get taken over so easily. They're compromised in the first one. They're all blown up because of a terrible hack that no one picked up on.
They store all their secrets in a taxi cab.
In a taxi cab car that he just connected to, and it's not a good or well-run organization for a secret crime-fighting organization. They got a lot of problems. They're easily taken over.
I also want to know. The gold circle, tattoo.
Yeah.
I thought it was sort of funny that the girl got it as a tramp stamp.
Yeah. How about that scene where he had to finger her to put the thing on? I mean, why are you calling your girlfriend and telling her that's what you're about to do? You didn't have to have sex with her. You just had to slip a finger somewhere.
Or that painful description of, a mucus membrane. Not that mucus membrane.
Oh, yeah, that was awkward.
Is that the scene you were talking about? You said there's supposed to be a graphic sex scene in it.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look at that article again. I read some articles.
Because that wasn't that bad.
No,
it
wasn't that bad at all.
Funny. He saw his hand going downstairs, and he slipped that little finger condom on it and plugged her.
That the scene where he opens that up and he makes fun of talks about. I thought everything was bigger in the United States.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
So there you go. Ready for ratings?
Let's do it.
Done with this one?
Sure.
You want to start us off there?
2.5.
2.5. 2.5 cheese wheels.
Yep.
Brock?
I'll go 3.
3 nondescript baseball caps.
Yep.
Lance?
I'm going to echo the cheese and go 2.5 ebony bald heads.
All right. I'm going to sit right around 2.
Okay.
Bald heads.
Average it out, we're at 2.5.
About 2.5, yeah.
2.5.
There you go. Go check it out. Let us know what you think. And Brock, you began it, so end it for us.
All right. If you liked what you heard, please give us a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I don't know why you wouldn't have done that already, but anyhow. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao.